It's been a while since I've done a random live stream. Let's see if this works. Do we have a working live stream? Suppose one way to find out. We'll find out shortly. We'll see if chat comes in a moment. It's been a while since I've made the time for this. It's been an interesting time, honestly. Oh, hello. People are here. Hello. Kyle, David, Zombie Power Drink. How are you? Crap, I forgot how much faster this one is. When I stream on the live channel, there's very few people there, so I can actually keep track of everything. And here, it's like 15 messages a second. Holy, yeah, how the hell do you keep track of this? Oh my god. Here I go. Travis, I remember you. GTFO. Let's see. TechServe, man. I actually used to own the domain name way less than techserve.com. Way less than techserve.com. MB is Frenchie here. One of the few New York City landlords that I actually like. They are few and far between. Cat, you win 1,000 viewers. Tips on cleaning up your information/media diet. Honestly, I would start with getting rid of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Just right off the bat, my friend Anna always tells me every time I'm reading crap. She always has to remind me because every now and then I'll get stuck into reading some shitty corner of the internet where, like, I'm not reading news. I'm reading someone's take on news through their filter after it's gone through them presenting me like filtered facts and stuff. And she always tells me garbage in, garbage out. And one of the things that help me with it is like just delete Twitter, delete Facebook, delete LinkedIn, and delete Instagram. Getting fucked on that end now, the Cuomo extended moratorium. Some people have reached 10K, but they have the money, they just don't want to pay. Yeah, being a landlord in New York City probably sucks right now. I'm calling you to remind you to renew your car warranty. You know, one of the things that I've wanted to do recently, what do you think about that iPhone screen programmer? I don't know what you mean by that iPhone screen programmer. What do you mean? I honestly, I kind of stopped caring about iPhone screen repair for my business. I'm just turning this thing on so I can hear when things notify me. I stopped caring about iPhone screen repair like 2015. I was at this fork in the road where someone came in for an iPhone 5S screen repair. Meow, Duck Vision, meow. And they had an iPhone 5S, and at the time, the screen was like $65. This is when the screen prices went through the roof. To get a decent screen was $65. And I told them it would be $80. I didn't want to do it because I was only making $15. The customer didn't want to pay, and they started huffing and puffing and whining and complaining about how I didn't want their business. It's like, you sound like you don't even want my business at that price. And it's like, honestly, with that attitude, I don't. Like, I'm going to interrupt my board repair to make $15 off of the screen. Like, why? And at some point, I just took it off my site and stopped caring. So I haven't really been into iPhone screen repair. I kind of predicted that the money was going to be in data recovery, hard drive data recovery, iPhone data recovery, and MacBook Logic board repair. And if I had to choose what to focus on, it really would make more sense to focus on the high-value services that less people could do than on the low-value services that literally anybody could do. And I think I made the right choice. I would not want to be in a place right now where I was making my money off of iPhone screen repair. Beach Cuomo. Well, I mean, people vote for him. What happened to your nosy commercial landlady who wanted to look at your books? Did she finally buzz off and enjoy your videos? That's not a problem anymore. That was just kind of water under the bridge at the time being. That's likely going to be something that comes up again in the future. But yeah, again, she was very aggravated. I remain calm. It's one of those situations where people, like, when other people get angry as you're remaining calm, it really just kind of makes them more angry, and it makes you feel like you're in the wrong or like you're about to be defeated. But the reality is that if you remain calm while someone else is kind of losing their shit on you, things work out better for you if you're the calm party. I would stack cash while living in New York because there's so many people. Then when you're ready to retire, you can get a nice house in the Midwest for cheap and it's quiet. We will see. I'd like to find some place so that is that is nice and quiet and peaceful and, like next to a Whole Foods, because I can't cook for shit. I'd rather, my dream, is to become rich enough that I can just go to the Whole Foods hot bar every now and then and just, eat, just like pick up my own food, pay for it, and go back to my little shanty shack of a house and be done. My dad was a chef at the Plaza Hotel, Club Quarters Midtown, first cook at a bunch of places in Manhattan. That shit did not go down to me. I joke with my dad every now and then about how I must have been, my mom must have had an affair or something, because like he can't use a computer for jack shit. Teaching him like stuff in Word was hard, but he was the first cook at the Plaza Hotel. I can't prepare oatmeal without fucking it up, and I do, MacBook board repair. So we're kind of, it is what it is. NW backcountry, it is what it is. I don't know. I think people get the wrong idea because they see me bash my local New York politicians a lot that I'm on Team Red. I'm not. I'm kind of on Team Libertarian. I kind of don't like either. Open your shop in India. Apple is scamming the customer. I don't know about India. One of my best friends lives in India, and she tells me stories on a regular basis that make me not want to live in India. Kind of makes me want to, get her out of there, but we'll see. What is your stream channel? Louis Rossmann Live Random is my stream channel, with 2 S's and 2 N's. What is your favorite album? Ooh, that's hard. I like Alice in Chains' Jar of Flies. Steely Dan's Gaucho, even though it's incredibly, incredibly cheesy. Alice in Chains' Jar of Flies, if I had to choose one. What phone should I buy? I need a cheap non-iPhone for texting only. Probably a Moto G. Again, it's not the best phone in the world, but for $140, I think you get your money's worth. I'm calling to remind you to renew your car warranty. Is something that I'd really like to do is I would like to figure out how to have a data plan without having a phone plan, and just kind of consolidate it, because I pay way too much money for unlimited calls. I never use this thing for phone calls, ever. And the few people that I do use it for calls with, I could easily use Signal or something else. So I'd want to get a data-only plan, because every phone call that I've gotten for the past 2 months, I shit you not, has been a phone call from someone telling me about my vehicle warranty, or Marriott hotels or some shit like that. And it keeps coming. I get 3 or 5 of these stupid robocalls a day. Sometimes they just call, don't say anything, and that's it. Like, they don't say anything, and then it hangs up 10 seconds later. It's highly aggravating. So I'm thinking of so if the phone companies don't want to fix this so that I don't get bullshit calls anymore, I'm just thinking of protesting it by just not paying for a phone number, which is really where I think I'm going to be going to. Everybody that has my phone number at this point. Who's more dislikable, Cuomo or de Blasio? It's hard to say. Do you know any tech brands manufactured in America? Probably not. I don't know any. Did you watch Eli's video about Ron Paul being kicked off Facebook? Yeah, I did. That made me sad. Like, there are politicians that I voted for because you get 2 choices, or people will have this idea that I support one politician or another. It really isn't. Voting most of the time is just, getting in the voting booth, closing your eyes, and letting the 2-party system have its way with you, and then feeling really disgusting afterwards. But Ron Paul was one of the few politicians that I actually could say I supported. In 2008, that was the first time I ever voted, and I believe I voted for him in a primary. There's a lot that I didn't agree with him on, but the thing is, for all the things that we may disagree on, once you're done spending money bombing people all over the world and getting rid of them, instead of wasting all that money on the military-industrial we can have disagreements on how to spend that money at home, but let's take the first step of not throwing that money into a shredder. Once we're not throwing that money into a shredder to kill other people, then we can debate on what to do with that money here. But he has no chance of winning. Neither did Larry Sharpe or any of the other people that I ever fucking vote for. But I'm not salty. I'm not salty. Have you asked your employees if they'd relocate? I actually have been, and the thing is, 2 years ago it would have been a no all around the board. Last year, probably like 1. Now, more and more. So one of the people, every time he walks to his car, he has to walk past a bunch of shady people. And recently, he wasn't able to walk on that block because there was a murder right near where he parked his car. He has told me, wherever you want to go in the U.S., I will follow you. Pretty much any place would, he said, no offense to where I come from, but like, I like New York. But as opposed to where I lived in Poland, but that's not saying that like I love New York, I'll take it anywhere. So there's another person that would be cool with moving if I went to Florida. There's someone else who said maybe if I went to Florida. There's another person who said I'll pretty much follow you to any part of the United States where they're not racist against Dominican people, because his wife is concerned about that because she used to deal with that where she lives. But he pretty much told me I'm game. I paid $2,600 for a shithole apartment in a not great neighborhood. There's no place to go but up from here. There's more work to be done. But so far, one of the best board repair people, the best iPhone data recovery person, and two other board repair people said, I'm game. And that's pretty cool. Like, and I'm kind of wondering, this is one of the things, because people have always... If I try to do a move like, let's say, 4 or 5 months ago, I get a virtual no across the board. If I start planning the idea now, maybe I get some more yeses. And a few months from now, I imagine that there's going to be a lot more yeses. But we'll see. If I pay for your relocation and your moving and your first month rent and deposit and all that shit, would you show up? And I'm kind of curious. Like, we'll see how things work out. Mail-in business kind of spiked a little bit during the pandemic, but now it kind of went back down to shit. I think the reason that it's went back down to shit is because nobody has any money right now and nobody has a job. Yeah, nobody has any money, nobody has a job, and a lot of people are broke and they don't know how, so they're not exactly looking at fixing their luxury Facebook machine. Robust. So there's that. Just want to say hi before bed. Love your streams. Your ideas, Eric and the Cats. Also, here's some for the Greenies Fund. Thank you very much. Do you invest in any stocks, or do you have any kind of investment other than your business? Yeah, I put a bunch into ICLN, so every time there's an election, I try to make it interesting. Like, I realize that the candidate that I vote for is never going to fucking win, so what I do to make it interesting for myself is I will usually make a bet based on who I think will win the election, and so far I've been right in the last several bets that I made. I thought that Trump would win in 2016. I thought Biden would win this time around. In anticipation of a Biden win, I loaded up the cart, backed up the truck on ICLN. I don't have the balls to invest in something like Plug. I don't. I don't have the balls to go all in on something like Plug. I'm not a Wall Street bets person. I don't want to watch an account of like 65,000, go down to 50 cents like you see all these people posting their fucking loss porn. But it does have exposure to Plug. So if Plug goes up, this will go up. But if Plug, evaporates tomorrow because they have no real earnings, it's not like the ETF will be dragged down to nothing. So I bet big on ICLN. I bet on Democrats taking the Senate, because David Perdue sucked. He couldn't even show up for a debate, and Kelly Loeffler pretty much just kept repeating herself. She was a horrible candidate. Like, not snarking on her for being Republican, snarking on her for being a horrible candidate. And I bet on Biden winning. And so, yeah, ICLN. Take a look at the graph of the last 3 months. I can't say I'm unhappy with it. I'm staying in it. I day traded it a little bit, and then that was the wrong thing to do. Do you see more riots in New York City when the rents are no longer subsidized? Oh, man, that's going to be something. So there's a lot more that's going to wind up going on here. Crop my water bottle out of view. Yes. All right, there we go. So I think there's going to be more. So first, what happened in May and June, I really do think that was the opening act or the prelude. You have... At some point, there were 3 or 4 million people that hadn't paid their rent in several months. This is going to happen all around the country. Don't get it twisted. This is going to happen everywhere as people go broke and the eviction moratoriums are lifted and so on and so forth. But it's going to happen first in the areas where you have the greatest differential between salary and rent. So if your salary is 0 and your rent is 400 or 600, you're kind of fucked, but you're not as fucked as someone whose rent is 3,000 and their salary is 0. They are 5 times more fucked. So there's going to be... So once the rent moratoriums go away and you try to mass evict 4 or 5 million poor and destitute people, when you give 4 or 5 million poor people nothing to lose, That's going to be a horror show. You have when again everybody's talking about the whole defund the police thing, this, that, and the other. I mean, most of the buildings are not going to pay their property tax. We don't have defund the police. We're going to have to defund everything. Defund the sanitation department. Defund the police. Defund the fire department. Defund the teachers. Defund the city workers. Everything's going to get defunded where nobody pays their property tax this year. So there's probably going to be unrest among people who are no longer getting paid. There's going to be I mean, God forbid, Derek Chauvin winds up getting off as or he gets acquitted by the jury for excited delirium or some shit like that. That's going to be, if that happens at the same time as the eviction moratorium goes away, at the same time that the city cuts a lot of its budget, that altogether would be interesting. But it could also go the other way. They could wind up being some sort of rent forgiveness bill or stimulus package or some shit like that. The court could wind up being backed up for 5 to 15 years. That's what I really foresee happening in New York City. Tenant court was backed up for like a year or two. I remember the last time I had a friend that was dealing with it. It was back to, like, his landlord offered him something like $5,000. Like, just get the fuck out of my apartment. Here's $5,000. Because he knew that the guy was going to stay there for 2 or 4 years. Whether you like it or not, think it's right or wrong. Defund the multi-billion fraud MTA union workers. Don't get me started on the people that got. There are lots of articles on this of people getting paid $300,000 to $500,000 a year in that range for overtime. And I'm not saying that workers don't deserve their money. I'm just saying $400,000 a year for for overtime there. Like, what are you doing? $400,000 a year. That's what, like, you're getting paid fucking $40,000 a month. That's a bit kind of makes you wonder why it is they have no rainy day fund over there. Yeah, I kind of wonder what's going to wind up happening with all of that. Someone says no sounds. I don't know. There's a bunch of people that can hear what I say, so I'm not sure. Just seen Yang's video for New York. Smart dude. I wonder what your thoughts are on Yang. I kind of feel bad for him because a lot of the problems in New York City are problems that started a really, really long time ago. And these problems, it's not like the city was kind of shaky and then it started to really go, and like now you have a choice to go here or here. It's been going downhill for a long time. We've had a bubble in real estate for a really long time. We've had a big wealth inequality thing here where the people that can afford $4,000 apartments live here, and 2 blocks down are people that are, destitute and can barely afford food. There's a lot of, and these problems have existed for a long time. The city's ridiculous budget has existed for a really long time. Yeah, don't get me started on that. Don't frustrate me. Don't frustrate me. The overtime thing is really what got me because that's a scam. There's one thing, being paid a very generous salary for a very low skill job is one thing, but another is, there's another thing when it's just outright fraud. I forget what I was just talking about. So maybe I'll come back to that. Oh, yeah, the Andrew Yang thing. So anybody who comes in at this, I don't really have any. Just stop supporting modern video games, honestly. Like, there's enough video games that have been made over the last 30 or 40 years that you could entertain yourself from now until death without having to buy a new one. Send a message to these companies that you're sick and tired of buying games where you bought half of the game and now you're expected to buy the rest of it through microtransactions, or where we release half of the game now, you'll get the next half of it next year. Just stop buying it. There's enough. It's kind of like the same thing with porno. You don't need, even if, let's say, Pornhub were to go down and you weren't able to upload new porn, there's been enough porn released that you could watch a new porn from now until you die each time you wank it without needing new. Why don't you try Flowplane's alternative platform? I don't want something where there is a paywall between myself and the audience. I don't want there to be a paywall between myself and the audience, particularly since a lot of the content that I made with regard to the border pairs was that stuff is really targeted to people that don't have anything, don't have any money, and are looking for a way to make money, or looking for a way to add to their own repair shop's revenue add to the revenue of their own tech business. And usually people who were at that point, or like me, broke and destitute, and they're just not going to spend any money. So I want the stuff to be free. I want it to be freely available, and I don't want there to be a paywall. I'm amazed I get as much as I do as a Linux admin. How do these government officials make more than I do and do less? Maybe it's a supply and demand thing. I'm not sure. I think there is a lot of people that still get into the sysadmin stuff, yet there's a lot of people that keep going into these jobs as if there's the same demand now that there was in 1999. And I think the supply greatly outstrips the demand to some extent. But yeah, when it comes to Andrew Yang, I'm probably not going to get to answer this question because something's going to show up on the screen every 5 seconds. And also, holy shit, that's $50. Jesus Christ. Well, you must make something. You could afford to give me $50. Thank you. I learned a lot from your videos. Thank you. Oh, thank you. The thing with Andrew Yang is I think that he's a problem solver. I think he really wants to solve problems rather than sow division and, create hay in the culture war by getting people pissed off by all these things. The thing is, this is the way I explain it. If you meet a 26-year-old, the first month that they start smoking, you can do something about that. If you meet a 27-year-old after a year of smoking, you're kind of more fucked, but you can do something about that. If you meet that person once they're 84 and they have lung cancer, there's not much you could do at that point. And I think Andrew Yang is not coming in and helping the 26-year-old that just started a bad habit. He's coming in at the point of the 84-year-old that has lung cancer if he wants to be mayor here. I got an M1 MacBook that died 3 weeks after I bought it. As a bad logic board. God bless shiny new Facebook machines. Yeah, it sounds like a MacBook. Again, I've kind of I've divested myself a little bit from feeling personally invested in the choices people make when they purchase these things. I'm just gonna keep my door open and make money when they die. Again, I have no guilt here. My business makes money off of fixing Apple products. My money is made. Thank you, General Disregard. My money is made fixing Apple products. My ability to pay 15 people a salary comes off of fixing Apple products. I have been consistent since I started this channel that people should purchase less Apple products. So if people purchase them and they die and I make money off of them, I have absolutely no effing guilt because I have worked against my own financial interest with the suggestions that I've made and what I've talked about on this channel for the past 8 years. So again, zero guilt. Zero guilt. You take that dead MacBook. Robust. Why are you still in New York when it's terrible? Because I'm an adult. I'm a grown-up. And a part of having a grown-up is having a life, is having things that kind of... Again, if I was... I have obligations here. I have employees here. I have a business here. I can't put a business that has 15 people and 2,400 square feet of stuff and like 900 to 1,300 open tickets and people with their families and all. I can't put all of that stuff in a backpack and just, go 300 miles that way. Doing that would kind of fuck me over in many ways. It's one of those things where if you do son of a bitch, how do you find supplies like screens and batteries in the early days? What you do is you buy something from some random person on Skype or email, pray that they actually send it to you, pray that the sample you get doesn't suck, and then you slowly scale up the quantity as you see that what they're sending you is not garbage. Then once they're sending you is not garbage, then you start making very large orders, and once you start making the very large orders, then you actually have some clout with them because they want to continue making money. But it is an absolute 100% crapshoot, and I would really prefer a better way to do it, but there isn't a better way to do it right now. It's not that that's the way I want to do it, it's just I don't have a better way. Move to Florida, we need you in the last battlefield for freedom. We'll see. I don't know. I honestly don't know where the hell I want to go in the United States right now, and particularly in the beginning of... I've always thought New York was a shithole. It's just I was born here. I didn't have a lot of money when I started my business, so I just needed to make do with the opportunities that were around me. Because if your salary is $600 and your rent is $400 here, you're better off than if you move over there and your rent is $100 and your salary is $0. You know what I'm saying? So it's difficult to give up a good thing when you're broke. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm not broke anymore. Like I'm not rich, but I am broke. I want to thank you. I was a personal trainer due to COVID. My gym shut down. Thanks to you, I became an essential worker and started a new career. I can't tell if you're half trolling or not. I can't tell. I don't know. I don't like this idea of being able to call some people essential and other people not. But yeah, moving is something that's easier said than done when you have this type of business. One of the things that I've found over the past several years, in a place where in 20 square miles or so there's 8 million people, just finding 5 or 6 good board repair people is like fucking pulling teeth. There are so many people here and there are so few of them that I can actually hire because most of them just are not able to do what I need done to maintain this business to the standard and quality that it is. So if I were to move, I either need to A, take these people with me immediately, or B, slowly build up somewhere else. Slowly building up somewhere else. Again, it's starting from scratch. It's pain in the ass, pain in the dick. And there's also a lot of stuff that I need to clear up and kind of clean out here before I can focus on moving. Before I can focus on moving, I need to not have over 900 to 1,300 tickets that are open over here. I need to have things streamlined and all dealt with. And above all, I need to actually know where the hell I'm going. Purchase Apple, right to despair. I won't argue with you there. But yeah, after what happened in May and June, I had already hated New York for a long period of time for many reasons. The filth of it, how expensive everything is, how anxious and aggravated all the people are here, how all of the architecture, unless you are a billionaire, you're probably living in a place that's 120 years old that's falling apart because nobody has any money to make anything nice, because nobody has any money, because it's all getting tossed away to rent and real estate and everything else. I don't like what it brings out in people. And after all the stuff that happened in May and June, I kind of mentally checked out here. How do you feel about free college in New York? I don't know. I'm pro-education, but I'm not necessarily pro-college, because I've seen how easy it is for people to spend 4 years in college and come out of it virtually. It doesn't incentivize them to do better. I want there to be more educational opportunities, and I wouldn't be opposed to. Fuck it. How the fuck are you supposed to answer any of this with it? You have 3 seconds per question. Jesus Christ. Anyway. But I don't know if college is the best way to do it. I'm for there being better educational vehicles, but if college truly becomes free, then do colleges really have to offer people what they're paying for if somebody else is paying for it? Because people are paying for it right now, and I don't even think colleges are offering a lot of people what is necessary to succeed in the world. Any advice for a very successful 26-year-old horrible imposter syndrome? Do something you suck at. Do something that you suck at. It'll kind of... It kind of gives you perspective. That's one of the reasons that I got into martial arts, is because I have no sense of... I have no sense of depth. I have no sense of coordination. I'm fucking horrible at it. And, I do it a couple of times a week, and it kind of reminds me that as good as I got at board repair, and as good as I was able to start a business at this, I suck balls at something else, and it kind of checks my ego. How do we resist totalitarianism in this day and age? I'm not very optimistic, especially with the communists and corporations foaming at the mouth. How do you resist it? I honestly don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. And that's probably why I don't really know where I'd want to move to. Again, I kind of... Son of a... Thank you. I kind of mentally checked out of New York in May and June. I realized that as much as I've always disliked it, once people started saying... If I said, I think it's sad that this Korean barbecue got fucked up and destroyed, when people would look at me and say, it's wrong that you're noticing that before you're noticing the injustices that cause people to do that, that's when I kind of mentally checked out and realized this is not a place that I can stay. Because I have the ability to multitask. I can say that something that happened to an individual unjustly by a shitty police officer is horrible and that person should be in prison, while simultaneously saying that you destroying a fucking small business is ridiculous, won't accomplish anything, and is just a shit thing to do. And thank you, Victor. The thing is, I kind of mentally checked out once I realized that the people that I was talking to in New York really did believe in that. And the how dare you part of pointing out that something like this could be wrong. And I thought, maybe I move to an area that's more red where I don't have to deal with this. And then the events of the past few weeks where people are saying, where the people have just gone full in on the election stolen conspiracy thing. And when you see how bad these cases are, and you see how badly they were presented and how bad and shit the evidence is, and people just want to believe it anyway. That kind of brought me back into reality, where I kind of realized extreme left is bad, but yeah, I don't want to. But extreme right is shit as well. Because I have a friend who lived in a crappy part of Tennessee. Not I visited Nashville. Nashville's a really nice part of Tennessee. But he was in one of the ghetto parts of Tennessee, and he would always tell me about the shit that sucked about Tennessee, and I would always tell him about the shit that sucked about New York. And what I found crazy is that he came to New York and he loves it. And when I went to Tennessee, I loved it. It was really kind of strange. But the thing is, one of the things that I've been realizing over the past few weeks is that there's probably the grass really does seem to be greener on the other side. I would want a place to go to where I just don't have to deal with ideologically possessed people on either side of the spectrum, where I don't have to deal with any of this shit, but I don't know if that exists anymore. It's so refreshing to finally see someone who pros reasonable arguments about problems that recognize how stupid it is to have univariate solutions to multivariate problems. Man respects from Korea. Thank you. Yeah. Again, I think a big part of it is that people want the univariate solution to the multivariate problem, because they want to believe that the world is simple. They want to believe that it's good and evil. They want to believe that you're on the right side of history, and so on and so forth. I'll work with you if you move to Maryland. Nah, just kidding. Maryland sucks to move to Maryland. I don't think I'm going to move to Maryland. I don't see anything I'm not saying Maryland's bad. I just don't see where it's particularly great either. I got to I got to do some lobbying in Maryland. I got to meet some of the Maryland politicians, and nope. No. Like that. I mean, it was funny. I got a kick out of it, but no.
Robust.
I'm still using Samsung Galaxy S5 Mini. I've used it my daily for 6 years without a phone case. Finally cracked the screen for the first time a month ago, and the GPS no longer works. Are there any good small phones you'd recommend? Yeah, I don't really make them anymore. I don't know. I don't. Who may? Yeah, honestly, just get an older phone. Yeah, just get an older one. Like you'll save. And also $50 is way too much money. But yeah, nobody really seems to be interested in making a small phone. And when I see people making a small phone, a small phone now is what would have been considered a big phone 5 or 7 years ago. I would just get an old phone, honestly. I use a Moto G. It's not incredibly large, and it kind of does the job pretty nicely. CUNY overpay their tenured people $200K to teach 12 hours a week. Yeah, again, the thing that's crazy is, like, we've been going off on how to find a way to make education cheaper and available to the masses, and we have. It's called the internet. It's just nobody uses it. We're still focused on making the horse and buggy better. How do we better fund the horse and buggy? How do we tweak the horse and buggy? It's stop using the fucking horse and buggy. What do you think about Biden leaving out white small business owners when talking about who'll be getting resources to rebuild? He only mentioned Black, Latino, Asian, Native American. Honestly, it's just pandering. I don't get offended at that shit anymore. Like, I used to read that stuff, and I used to read these types of articles and actually get aggravated. I remember doing a video, and it was a very reactive video, and I'm kind of ashamed of how aggravated I was while I was doing it because I allowed myself to become angry over bullshit, where HP was saying that we are even after we have contracted with a company and they've delivered the services, if they do not meet the diversity requirements that we now have, we will not pay their the entire invoice. And I remember losing my shit saying, okay, if you want to say we don't want to do business with less diverse companies, that's one thing. But like you can't say after the fact, after they have provided the services, now we're not going to pay you the entire amount because you do not have the diversity amongst your staff that we would like you to have. That's BS. You choose it beforehand. And like I used to actually let myself get really aggravated at that stuff, and now I just don't care. Like it's pandering. I don't care. I know why they have to do it. I know why they feel like they have to do it, and I don't let it bother me or be like, I just don't care. I don't like let it aggravate me more than it should. Recommendations for Android device repair, New York City, Long Island. I don't know. If JM Wireless is open on 244 Grand Street, I would use them. I just don't expect a warranty. They're very nice, but at the prices that they charge, they're like, you're lucky that you get them to do anything at all. Honestly, they have ridiculously low prices. I would use JM Wireless. I used them to fix an HTC One S about 5 or 6 years ago, and they did a halfway decent job. He doesn't check YouTube chat, right? LOL. Come on, man. There's like 180 chats a minute. Well, what the hell are you doing? How fast do you think I can read?
Robust.
Yeah, again, he said he only mentioned Black, Latino, Asian, Native American. Okay, I mean, what he's doing is he's pointing to the fact that there are certain people that have been left over or fucked, or at least feel like they've been fucked over in society. So he's, letting them know, okay, we're not going to treat you as shitty as you've been treated before. And at the end of the day, he's probably going to fuck over people of every single color and every single race because he is a neoliberal corporatist that doesn't really seem to, how to put this, care. There were many candidates that seemed on the Democratic side that seemed like they were genuine, authentic. You had Tulsi Gabbard, you had Bernie Sanders, you had Andrew Yang, and everybody voted for the 78-year-old guy that wrote the crime bill. So, fucking. Maybe he's just saying that so that people forget his 1993 Beyond the Pale speech. Have any of you heard the Beyond the Pale speech by Joe Biden? If you haven't, you should. Check it out. It's a 1993 or 1994 Senate speech. Yeah, that's something. Yeah, people say Donald Trump is racist because with the dog whistles. Like, that guy's a fucking foghorn. Anyway, what do you look for in a town? I would like to find a town where the housing is nice, where a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's with a nice hot bar is very, very close and nearby, where the people are not ideologically possessed and insane, where I don't want to be around people that are burning down stores or like protesting bookstores because there's a book in there that they don't like. And I simultaneously don't want to be in a town where people are like going, we're going to storm the Capitol. Because, my dear leader on Twitter told me that the election was rigged, that in spite of all other evidence. I want to be somewhere that's kind of sane, you know? And I don't know where that is. I'd like to find it this year. I would like to find it. I'd also like to be someplace that's not underwater. I tried the Pine phone and it was horrible when I tried it. Admittedly, I didn't try all the operating systems. I only tried one operating system. I will get to trying with other operating systems soon. I haven't tried a Linux phone that really worked well, but I'm rooting for them to do better in the future. I love Lewis, but not enough to pay money for an answer to any of my inane questions. Well, I can't blame you. Do you take free labor? I cannot, because that is literally illegal. I did a video on unpaid internships, how unpaid internships allowed me to learn a lot of what I learned, a lot of what made me able to start a business and be successful at it. And a lot of people said that internships are slavery and they are horrible and they should be illegal. So the path that I took to success, unfortunately, is not a path I can make available to others because I'm a more high-profile figure and I'll get in trouble for it. I don't like the 888. I like the 951. Find a used 951. Did an iPad 6 last night for fun. Was enjoyable for watching the anguish in chat. No, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. Ah, well. You should know better by now, Paul Danielson, to care about your chat. Cuomo is a communist. No, he is not. He is a corporate Democrat. If anything, he is more of a moderate Republican than he is a communist. Very little about Cuomo is actually communist. Again, if you're going to dislike someone, at the very least, be accurate with your dislike. You should become a speaker. But no, I'm not really a great speaker. Also, holy shit, $100 is way too much money. Ben Shapiro managed to move out of California with most of his employees. Can you do the same? Ben Shapiro has multi-billionaire oil financial backers. I can't even get a fucking business loan to move my store. So you're comparing apples to oranges there. Further, Ben Shapiro's job is... How about this? I'm trying to figure out how to put this. Robust. That's a job where you genuinely can have everybody work from home. That's a job like it's not hard journalism where you're like on the ground reporting, on the ground at the Senate building, on the ground at the Capitol kind of shit. It's the kind of thing where like you read the news and then you give your opinion on it, and where you're recording yourself as you have a talk show. That's not the type of work that you need people to do in person. It's not like you're keeping track of 1,300 tickets. To get up and move a bunch of cameras is different than moving 1,300 people's devices. And above all, this is probably going to be very condescending, and I don't mean it in that way, but I just can't think of a better way to say it because it's 11:30 at night. Frankly, like again, the whole being an online commentator thing, that's just an easier business to move. If you want to find a right-wing pundit to write for your website, that's probably going to be something that you're going to be able to, it's easier to find than finding someone who knows how to recover hard drives that click, recover SSDs that have bad controllers, recover phones that have been tossed in the ocean, and do component-level MacBook Logic board repair when you literally have to figure it out for yourself. This is a very, very difficult industry to find people for. And anybody who says that it is easy you just haven't been in this industry. I'd like to see a review page. Property tax is paying tax on something you already own. Care to comment? Yes, I think it is how to put this? How do I put this? Theft. Theft. The idea that you're going to tax people in a manner that is completely unrelated to the amount of income that they make, to me, is insane, but that's the system. And the crazy thing is you have places like Jersey and so on and so forth where even with their 2.2% and 2.5% property tax, they're still fucked in their finances. Thank you, John. Why are there donation options? Dude has a business. Why are you a salty fuck? Let's see. The country... he's not checking YouTube chat. He has no time. I am, but I am 10 minutes behind. You can point out police brutality is wrong and burning businesses is wrong at the same time as long as people do something about both. I agree. Multitasking is possible. Robust. What are your opinions on Milton Friedman? I don't really have many. I don't know. Listen to him. He makes sense sometimes, but it's a very, if you ask, what do I think about X thing that he said, I could probably say something more, but other than that, I don't really know what to say there. I've read some of what he says, and it seems to make sense. Let's see. If you moved to a red city, would you still vote blue? I don't know, it depends on the candidate, really. Again, like, I'm not an ideologically possessed person. A lot of people have this idea of, like, don't move and take your voting habit with you. Like, I'm more conservative than the average person in New York, but I'm probably more liberal than the average person in Nashville or Nebraska from when I actually visited. Again, the candidates that I vote for are typically the candidates that don't win regardless. You know, like, Ron Paul is not doing well in the primary anywhere. Who else? Like Larry Sharp. Again, Larry Sharp has, I love Larry Sharp. I liked him as a candidate. But he has as shitty a chance of winning in New York as he does in Florida, as he does in... Like, Larry Sharp is going to lose in New York, same way he's going to lose in Florida, same way he's going to lose in Alabama, same way he's going to lose in Idaho, because he actually makes sense. And people don't want politicians that make sense. They want politicians that either A, are on their team because everybody's about Team Red or Team Blue and being an ideologically possessed cheerleader, or B, people that pander to them that make them feel good about silly cultural war shit. 5,000 milliamps should be minimum in cell phones. I don't know. Don't know. Don't know about having a minimum. I did not miss it, Paul, and just behind by a lot because there's too many comments. I heard Europe is nice, come to Munich. I don't know. Europe seems to be having its own problems right now. Man, I am 8 minutes behind. You are looking for Aurora, Colorado. Yes, a lot. Every time I mentioned I want a place that's not ideologically possessed, not super expensive, where people are not ideologically possessed, not super expensive, and where people are not crazy, and where things are affordable, Colorado comes up every single time. So Colorado is a place that I'm considering. You can't read as fast as you can type. I wish. Problem with online education is it needs to be a supplemental socialization program. Yes and no. The socialization as it exists in school is horrible. There's a lot of people that really, throughout their entire life, the only time they will experience violence and bullying is in public school. What OS to use? Linux at work, Windows at home. Biden will label Lewis a domestic terrorist because he speaks against Apple. That's just being ridiculous now. Come on. Robust. Again, I don't like Cuomo, but I also try to not like Cuomo based on facts and what he does rather than other stuff. I don't know what that means. I really appreciate the 2,500 clippers, but I don't know how to... I don't speak Spanish. I'm sorry. I feel bad that I don't speak Spanish, but I don't. Colorado has crazies. I grew up there. Yeah, I suppose. Who was that guy? What was the name of the guy that killed his wife and kids in Colorado? Chris Watts. Chris Watts, yeah. But does he really count? Because he came from North Carolina. I guess he counts because he lives there. Robust. And again, every place is going to have their crazies. Please go easy on the hair gel next time. Ha. I don't use hair gel. I used to use hair gel. I used to use a lot of hair gel, actually. I stopped because it got to be annoying. And also I wear a helmet, and it's just incompatible with the helmet. So now I just don't care. I used to have like way longer hair. It's way too much money. Still love your work and dedication to reading all these chats. Okay, that is way too much money. Thank you. Should I come to New York from India to work? I don't like New York very much, but one of my best friends lives in India, and I don't think New York is a downgrade from India. Translation, hello, I wish you success in these difficult times, and that you take good care of yourself in the United States was very crazy. Greetings from Chile. Greetings, sir. I hope Chile is doing very well. You can cross out Arkansas, then. I've never been to Arkansas before. Kamala got busted stealing the life story of hers from Martin Luther King. I don't know about that. Kamala seems to be a panderer. I was very disappointed to see that she was chosen as the vice president. She got kicked out. I was very happy with Tulsi Gabbard just skewering Kamala Harris in the debates. But I also realized that Tulsi had no chance of winning because she kind of made sense about some things, and she also wasn't pandering very hard, which means she's no chance of winning. I've thought about moving to a state like Vermont. Say the Mad River Valley area, all the outdoor recreation you can imagine, plus an awesome community. I haven't looked into Vermont very much, but I will. Come to Phoenix, my man. Maybe. Isn't Arizona where Maynard from Tool is from? I like Maynard. Robust. My cat got introduced to greenies from your videos. He learned to open the jar on his own. This is an expensive failure. Erica, you turned off my light.
It's on.
No, look up.
Oh.
Erica. Evil. Richmond, Virginia, Lewis. I'll think about it. Richmond is that place. I will think about it. Do you think there's any stable way for government to generate revenue besides taxing property? I mean, they tax income. At least here, they tax a lot of income. They have sales tax, they have income tax, they have business tax, they have corporate taxes, there's a fee for everything here, and they still have no fucking money. During our isolation in Quebec, I'm fascinated by your bike rants. I'm always curious to hear more about your adventures and see the city. Thank you. Move to another country which speaks German. Yeah. Colorado is expensive. Everything is cheap compared to New York. Multitasking is not possible. Sometimes it is. Here, also, you should be a mod. I mod you. Yeah, you could literally move that shit anywhere at the drop of a hat with a green screen. Yeah, again, like I'm not trying to insult Ben Shapiro or the Kyle Kalinskis or any of those people. It's just pretty much anywhere with a green screen, you know? Buy yourself something nice and beautiful. Why, thank you. I have a computer repair shop in Afghanistan. You're my only source of guidance. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Hard being a centralist. I don't know if I'm a centrist. I just think that I don't get it. Maybe it's like I don't think what I'm supposed to think at the time that I'm supposed to think it. What is your dream car? Pretend you don't live in New York. I want to get a Zero motorcycle, but I'm too much of a cheapskate. I want a Zero motorcycle, but I want to modify it so that the rear brake is not on a pedal, but is on the left hand grip, because there's no clutch on a Zero motorcycle, so you can have the brakes here. Yeah, Zero motorcycle, honestly. That would be it. Robust. Quick study break instead of the live stream with Google opinion, reward, money expiring soon, might as well donate it. Thank you. You are looking for Aurora, Colorado. I will take a look at Aurora, Colorado. Move to Indianapolis, Indiana, middle of America. I don't know. Do you think it would be weird if politics changed and Huawei came to USA? Probably. That would be the opposite of us making things again. It would be the powerhouse of other countries bringing their stuff here. Like, it's not us making stuff. It is a spying Chinese company doing the manufacturing of their spying equipment here. That'd be kind of weird. Robust. Stop defending and apologizing for Trump and his Nazi horde. That sounds pretty ideologically possessed and also retarded, because I haven't. You may have noticed that some of my recent videos criticizing Trump and him being ridiculous with the election have resulted in them getting almost as many thumbs down as thumbs up. But you don't notice that because you're... Yeah, see, this is the thing I'm looking to avoid. Like, I want to move someplace where people are not like... This is the thing that happens in New York, but I really don't want this happening in places that I move in the other direction, where people get mad at me over things that I don't even think or say, which is really annoying. When you can tell when someone's so on edge and so aggravated about their particular political opinion that you can have a conversation with them and they start responding to shit that you never said, and it's so annoying. But like, I want to find some place that doesn't have these people, and we're also going to get you out of my chat because it's just stupid. All right, I am 11 minutes behind. You should have interns pay you for getting taught. Again, like, you could have an intern that works for free and learns, or you could have a school where you pay $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to learn the same thing. Robust. One is considered proper, the other is considered slavery. But I'm not going to argue. I just have the policy that I do. Hello from the mountains where there are literally more bears in my country than people. Good luck with right to repair efforts. Thank you. Would you hire someone with solid, although plain old soldering skills? Probably not. My experience with on-the-job training has been pretty horrible. I'll admit that I suck at it. Either if you're someone who works here at a lower level job and you want to learn from others how to get to the higher level job, fine. I can't hire you for the higher level job if you don't know how to do it. I've completely failed at making that work. I've tried. I've given it chances. It's an incredibly expensive way to just piss money out the window on something that's not going to work. Pandemic completely destroyed my small business in the DJ event industry. I have $250,000 invested in electronics and equipment sitting, doing nothing and making no money. Lost Dad and 3 others to COVID. I wish I could hit refund on that, because you probably need your $9.99 more than me. I don't know what to say to that, man. That sounds horrible. That is horrible. This is the thing. You're the reason I started my tech support computer repair business. Just got my DBA filing back from the state. Keep the good work. Thank you. Yeah, that's horrible. There's a lot of people that are going to be really screwed over from all of this, and I don't think it's really going to hit people until a few years show up, until like a few years have passed. And I wish I could say something that would give people more hope, but I don't. I don't have the hope myself to even give it to somebody else right now. I'm very pessimistic on what the next few years are going to be like. Bring back Dr. Evil Genius. Will do. Cuomo's a corrupt Democrat, but not in communist territory. Correct. If you're going to insult and criticize, be real. Ever thought about the Kansas City Metro? I visited Olathe, Kansas several years ago. It was kind of nice. I don't know what it's like now. Ben Smart, what was it? Andrew Yang announced he wants to be New York City mayor. I feel bad for him. He's in for a lot of hell. Adam Baldwin says I can recover bad hard drives. Adam, where are you from, my friend? Such a bad take. How could a more technical job be harder to move demographically? Well, for several reasons. The first reason is that many of the people that work with you are not going to be willing to move, which means you need to find new people. You may not be familiar with this, but again, for people actually are not always. Oh my God, there's always a question. You can be fall for AWS when the customers finally realize that the cloud is just someone else's servers. No, I think people are not going to realize that until it's too late because AWS has made things too cheap and too convenient. But yeah, the whole idea that it's a bad take for a technical job to be moved is just genuinely ridiculous. It's how difficult is it to find replacements? So if I move my business, I have 15 employees from here to, let's say, Tennessee, I may only have 3 or 4 people that are willing to come with me. That means I need to hire 10 or 11 people. Now, what's harder to find? Someone who knows how to fix clicking hard drives and do MacBook Logic board repair, which is virtually no education for, or a journalist, where there's college degrees in how to do that. Like, which one do you think is going to be harder? Again, it's something that you're speaking with zero experience, so I can't even take you seriously. You've never run a business before, so just get out of here. Force America manufacture of essential goods, medical supplies, networking infrastructure, etc. I think the pandemic has shown that outsourcing to the extent that we have is not good. And that we're going to have to fix that so that the next time this comes along, we don't get owned. Do you know a single white supremacist? I don't know, because I'm pretty sure if someone was a white supremacist in Brooklyn or Bushwick or Bed-Stuy or Manhattan, they wouldn't tell me because they for self-preservation reasons. So I would want to say no, but the more honest answer would likely be I don't know, because, again, if you are a white supremacist living where I live, you would really, just from your own self-preservation point of view, you'd probably keep your mouth shut. I ad block on YouTube, so call this paying it backwards and forward for ad revenue. You would never get from me. Thank you very much. Wait. But yeah, when it comes to the fact that we have nurses in hospitals reusing N95 masks because we don't have the capacity to create them. You know, when we call ourselves a world superpower, yeah, we're such a great superpower that we can't even produce masks in time when we need them. Is New York City beyond the point of no return? Governor Cuomo is now in favor of opening up. Is right to repair officially dead? That's a lot of questions, particularly since I'm only going to have 10 seconds to answer it. I don't know if New York City is beyond the point of no return. I lean towards yes. Again, a lot of people say that since all the rich people have left, this may actually allow a renaissance in the city. Once all these apartments are empty, they may be able to be converted to something else. But again, a big part of the city is that $70 billion budget. All of the prying back and forth and yelling and screaming and bickering and fighting, that's with... I've only seen like one video debate he did with someone, and that was only for 5 or 10 minutes, so I honestly can't. I don't know much about him. I'm sorry. All that debate is occurring with the $70 to $75 billion budget. So when that $70 billion is taken away, what do we have left? And I think a lot of people who are saying that the rich leaving is a good thing don't realize that the rich are paying a very large amount of the money for that everybody has gotten used to here for all the programs. And I'd love to be proven wrong. The thing about being a pessimist is that when you're wrong, the world's a better place than you think it is, and that's a good thing. Hey, how's it going? Says the humor. Hello. New York City property tax is effing crazy. The property tax isn't what's nuts. It's the price of the real estate. So if you take a look, a lot of the places in Brooklyn, the house is a 0.7% property tax rate. That's actually really cheap. The problem is not the property tax percentage. The problem is that the property itself is so fucking expensive. It's that a shitty garbage house with holes in the ceiling is $1.4 million. That's the problem, not the actual property tax percentage. Can you fix my 17-inch MacBook Pro? I'm guessing you have a GPU problem. If that's the case, then no. Isn't right to repair a left-wing idea, but used so capitalist in thinking? Really depends on how you present it. Is it a freedom thing, property rights thing, or is it a you against a big corporation thing? Like, you could frame it in a left-wing way, you could frame it in a right-wing way. If you listen to the Real AF podcast, I've never heard the Real AF podcast. And everything from 11:21 to 11:31 is now gone because I wasn't reading the chat long enough. So if you said anything between 11:21 and 11:31, I can't scroll up because the YouTube chat doesn't allow it. I also have ignored the Twitch chat for the last few minutes because there's just way too many. Sorry. I feel bad. Colorado is a great place. I think you'd like it. Maybe. Damn, why so hostile? I don't know. Maybe I'm a horrible person. Lewis, as someone who's in high school deciding what to major in, is really interested. Do you think independent repair shops will like you will be viable in 10 years? I honestly don't know because I really thought I wasn't going to be viable in 2010, I pivoted into supply because I thought repair was going to go away, and I was completely wrong. I shouldn't have pivoted into supply. I should have pivoted into board repair. I really don't know. Are there things you do to maintain good mental health? Deleting Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I cannot stress that enough. Why not get a hub motor, enjoy reliability and silentness? Because it's fucking horrible. Just figuring out which hub is going to fit your bike. Okay, now you have to figure out what the size of the dropouts are on your bike. But that's never listed in the spec page. So you have to buy the bike, figure out if the hub motor you get is going to fit in those dropouts. It's a miserable pain in the ass because you have to do so much research to figure out what is going to actually fit your bike. And I don't know. I'm used to what I have. Have you sold any automatic fire suppression at the store? Thinking about the customer's important data here. Yeah, we have a sprinkler system. But it's okay because we know how to fix water damage at Rossmann Repair. So the entire country is like this now, Lewis. Doesn't matter where you go. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and that's what scares me. I always used to think that there was the opportunity of escaping New York for not like a total red area, but a more red area. And now I'm like starting to find that like every side of the political aisle and spectrum has kind of lost their mind. And I don't know. Maybe we will go to. I'll find an island somewhere. Nice isolated island. What deodorant do you recommend? I use Speed Stick, but the one that doesn't have any of the aluminum zirconium in it. Or in case there's anybody from Australia watching, aluminium zirconium. Robust. I run a simple phone repair shop with my dad while also in college. Should I get trained to do board repair or learn on my own? I learned on my own. There's not a lot of places to really get training on how to do this. I stopped doing the teaching because it was I didn't want to do it anymore for a number of reasons, but just watch these videos, experiment on your own time, and see what you get. You consider yourself an electrical engineer. I can't engineer shit. I'm not an engineer, man. I'm a janitor. I could fix boards today. I understand your problem. My problem is that I live in Maryland. Robust. I'm buying an iPhone because I cannot get my Android fixed easily where I live, but Apple repair shops are plenty. Am I the enemy? Get an Android that doesn't break. Won't call you the enemy, but... Robust. Good nitrile gloves and where to buy them at. I think I have an Amazon link in my repair videos description, but I don't know if they still have them. I don't know if they're still selling them. Now I'm 10 minutes behind on comments. Let's catch up, catch up, catch up. You made a video repairing my wife's laptop, and I love hearing you talk about the stuff Apple did. I'd also suggest Colorado for a decent level of political discourse. Colorado.
Robust.
Tripexit, yes, and I found things that I probably... I got... how to put this? So there's like the normal libertarian scene in New York City, and then there's the crazy people that use the word libertarian as a way to hide what they actually are, and like I wound up going to some of the wrong places because I'm a moron and I didn't look into it all the way. But yeah, I haven't been to those types of meetups in a long time. But yeah, I used to be into going to into meetup groups. I went to a lot of different types of meetup groups in New York City. I went to an electronics one, I went to a vegetarian one, I went to a libertarian one. I went to what is it? I met all sorts of interesting people at these meetups. Wound up meeting some anarcho-communist person at this restaurant. And like taking over, we just wound up taking over the conversation for an hour or two. Very interesting. But I don't really get along with most people in meetup groups because it's, oh, hi, how are you? What do you do? Oh, cool, oh, that's that. Oh, what do you want to order tonight? Oh, what do you think of this dish? It's incredibly boring conversations. It's almost like as a result of you showing up, I don't want to talk to you. Which is weird, but maybe I'm not a social person. Change the playback speed in YouTube. You sound like you're on Ludes. No, I'm not on Ludes. I'm on beta alanine. That stuff is like crack, man. That name, Dr. Evil Genius. Find him on YouTube, Autumn Beauty. He has his own channel. Restaurant owner here. Can't believe the hell I was put through in New Jersey. Can't imagine being in New York. Yeah, it's a mess. You see the Blasio's reason for closing gyms today? I don't even fucking keep track of that shit anymore. I have my own weight set now in my place, and I don't have to care if the gym's open anymore. I feel bad for the gyms, though. They're getting fucked, but... Are you libertarian? I lean libertarian, I'd say.
Robust.
Aluminium. Indeed, Arony. Aluminium. Or aluminum if you're American. Aluminium if you are... All right, you are spamming. You're out of here. That is annoying. I'm already behind on reading all this shit. Can't deal with spam. Are those flowers real? No, they are not real. Erica got these flowers out of some fancy schmancy... There's some fancy schmancy furniture store for setting up your apartment, and she likes to go dumpster diving, and she goes through all this shit. So this is like about $135 worth of fake flowers, and they're free. She loves finding free shit. You've inspired me to become a better person. Please stay yourself. Thank you. Hopefully you're a better person than I am. Autumn, I think I answered that one already. Did Epstein kill himself? No, he did not. What was the name of that guy? He was a legislator in Florida, wound up in the Trump administration, bald, skinny, really snivelly looking, that was responsible for Epstein getting the most pathetic joke of a prison sentence that he ever could have gotten. There was a documentary on this. I forget the guy's name. He was in the Trump administration for a while. He resigned when the whole Epstein thing came out. Epstein, he was allowed to go to hotels and do his business throughout the day and then come back into this place that looked like a fucking hotel that they called a jail at the end of the day. Have a favorite item to repair. I don't have a favorite item to repair. I like the ThinkPads because you often don't need to repair them. It's the fact that it's very, that I think that the business series ThinkPads were well built. Hello from Wisconsin. Oh, yeah, I think I read that one. What do you think about Apple using percentages in their presentation, saying Android is 5% and they're 95%? I honestly don't watch Apple presentations, and I could care less about them.
Robust.
I'd gaff about Apple or specific repairs, but would like to see some how-tos and how hot air advanced soldering. Good job in being level-headed politically. I wouldn't call myself level-headed at all. I think my head is spinning off along with a lot of other people nowadays. Trying to keep it from spinning off, though. Yeah, hot air technique. It's really difficult because I don't know how to show people this stuff without them actually trying it in person. Because I can mention, here's how I use the hot air, but it doesn't really make sense to most people until you actually do it yourself.
Robust, robust, robust.
I'd really, in a non-COVID environment and in a place where I could have a larger setup, I would love to have some sort of place where people could just show up in a meetup group and get to try out all the equipment for free and try and practice and stuff like that. That would be cool. I just can't do that because of COVID in New York being so fucking expensive. We are a computer store. We always use your services. My team will flip out if you shout us out. Just even saying Computuners. Thank you, Lewis. Shout out to people at Computuners and Michael K. And thank you very much. That's way too much effing money. I know since we stopped focusing on wholesale business to business clients that we are probably charging you an amount of money that you should not be giving me $150. Yeah, because we stopped focusing a lot on the business to business thing and put all of our effort into just pure regular consumers. So, but thank you. I don't think I deserve that, but thank you very much. Trump's plan was to manufacture PPE, but Americans prefer Biden's plan to expand welfare programs. Welfare and manufacturing PPE are two entirely separate issues that you seem to have conflated there. Again, like I'm not saying I like Biden and I don't like Trump, but like you've kind of taken one issue and conflated it with another completely unrelated issue as a way to...
Robust, robust.
See, this is the kind of salt that just makes discussing politics impossible. What's a good laptop to buy new COVID in 2021 that is not Lenovo? All my MSI and Asus hinges snapped. Do they make any of like the really rugged looking Latitude still? Because I'm not. I know they're not going to look the way a D610 or a D620 did. But does Dell still make a rugged Latitude, not some sort of fancy schmancy shiny bullshit looking consumer Latitude? If they do, I would take a look at the Dell Latitude series. Notice me, Senpai. Well, hello, Mango Tech. Ever done consulting with design engineers? Nope, I am not an engineer. I am a clueless moron that does random, like janitorial work on MacBooks from time to time on camera. Close to you, we buy batteries from you. Oh, hi, Scott. Nice to meet you, Scott. GameStop is going to close all physical locations and going only online. I don't know how the fuck their stock keeps going up. Yeah, GME is going up like crazy. That's probably all the Wall Street bets weirdos pumping it up so that they can dump it and fuck over everybody. You know what you should do if you want some real entertainment? Make a fake portfolio. Not a real one. Make a fake investment portfolio. And every day go all in on what Wall Street Bets tells you to go all in on and see how much money you have after a month. I actually tried this. I went from $1 million to around $30,000 inside of 2 weeks. All I did is I followed what Wall Street Bets would say to do. This is a great idea. And then I would do that. And I went from about $1 million to 30,000. To be clear, this is a fake account, not a real one. People actually do that with a real account. It's fucking crazy. Love watching your videos and stream electronics or cats. I'm 18 and you inspired me to fix electronics. And then the message went off the screen before I could finish it. And then I became sad. Thank you. Hello from Jersey. What's your opinion on iOS jailbreaking and right to repair? I think more people, because of the Trump ban, are going to get into jailbreaking because in order to install apps on their phones for alternative social media and video sites, they're going to need to do it, which means that the average technical proficiency of your average Joe is going to go up because they need it now to communicate, and B, people are going to start to realize that the inability to install applications that you wish to install on a device that you just paid $1,200 for is a fucking problem, and people are going to notice. It's one of the good things to come out of it. I'm not the biggest fan of Trump. I don't like Trump, but him getting banned is actually going to wake up a lot of people to the idea that you should actually have freedom with your electronic devices, and that's a good thing. Ever watch Rich Rebuilds? You two would get along. I actually visited him. We were talking about doing a collaboration either 2018 or 2019. My store could not physically fit him in at the time. There was 14 or 15 people in the old store, and there were customers in it. And I was supposed to get back to him that week. I wound up getting sick, and I didn't. And I feel bad that I never got back to him. I kind of blew him off, and it was very rude and very poor taste. And I feel horrible that I did it. He's a really nice guy. He was a nice, humble, good person. He didn't present himself as an asshole or like I'm better than you because of all the subscribers I have or anything. He's a really good person, and I wish him the best of success and luck with his business and his channel. Hello from Denver. Love it here, but lots of static electricity due to dry weather. Maybe an issue for repairs. That said, it's bike friendly and beautiful. Sea Cherry Cheek Trail. I'm going to check out Colorado. Thoughts on Linux phones like the Librem 5. I don't want to say what my source for this is. Because here's the thing. I'm going to piss people off by saying this. Because I can't tell you what it is that I know. Because if I tell you what it is that I know, it's going to betray the confidence of a friend. I don't think that they are necessarily all about the freedom stuff. I think they're about pretending they're about the freedom stuff as a means to collecting new rounds of investor funding, and I'm just not the biggest fan. Again, I realize that this sounds like bullshit because I'm not giving you any reasons. I'm not giving you any anecdotes or stories or evidence. I can't, because telling you that would allow others to know. They would figure out how I know this. Then they would figure out that the person who told me something in confidence that he wasn't supposed to say, and so on and I don't want to betray that. But long story, I'm not the biggest fan of Librem. I'm not the biggest fan of Librem. And I'd like to say why, but I can't. So I'm sorry. Let's leave it at that. Again, not arguing that you shouldn't buy one. I don't expect you to listen to someone who's not willing to give you their evidence or their reasoning. I honestly wouldn't listen to someone who doesn't give me evidence and reasoning. I can't expect you to. I'm not asking you to. Is the online wiki your way of developing a school for teaching others how to repair since one doesn't exist? Yes, it's that I'm focusing on that mostly because I realize I don't enjoy doing the board repair videos anymore, but I still want to have an educational resource, and I think that's a much better educational resource target than having videos that you have to watch 40 minutes of to figure out how to fix one problem. What's the point in doing anything? The World Economic Forum will have us all in chains by 2030. They have too much power. No, they won't. They will only have you in chains if you believe that there's nothing you can do. Nihilism will lead to totalitarianism, so just stop being nihilistic. That kind of thing that goes back to the question someone asked me in the beginning of the video. How do you avoid the slow slide into authoritarianism? Don't become nihilistic. The world has purpose. You have purpose. You existing has there's a purpose to your life, and you should treat your life as if it has a purpose. And if you don't think you have a purpose, then go out there and find a purpose. Don't let someone else define your purpose for you. You're a big enough channel to where you could have in-video ad sponsors. Why don't you have them? Because they all suck. The only fucking sponsors that I get are for like Wondershare, which is a piece of shit software that pretends it's like they make it sound like they can get data off of dead phones when they clearly can't. Or NordVPN offer. And I didn't take, thank fucking God I didn't take the NordVPN sponsorship because they got hacked a few months later. And that's it. I think I got like NordVPN. I get shitty ass Android games, and it's not even good money. It's like, they say, we'll give you $30 if you mention. It's like, I'm not giving up my credibility for $30 fucking dollars. That's ridiculous.
Wait, you got one sponsor.
Who?
Store.rossmanngroup.
You have store.rossmanngroup.com. Go buy some Flux that Dan let go out of stock. Email Dan at rossmanngroup.com and tell him what you think of him letting Flux go out of stock. You might be looking for a place that doesn't exist in the United States anymore, with even more divisiveness in the rise in Canada. I don't know about Canada. A lot of the real estate prices of a lot of the places in Canada seem a little bit iffy. It doesn't seem better off. It doesn't seem like any less of a sinking ship as far as debt goes. Here's another $2. I'm 18. You inspire me to repair stuff and be open to opinions when being pessimist. Thank you. You accept Bitcoin payment. We don't accept Bitcoin payments. I have a link in some of my board repair videos at the end for Bitcoin donations, but I don't accept Bitcoin as payment at the business. It's too volatile. Would you ever go on the new Kyle and Friends podcast, Secular Talk? Yeah, why not? I don't have a problem with them. Yeah, like when it comes to the stuff that I want to discuss or right to repair or any of that, I really don't have a partisan issue. I would discuss right to repair with Kyle at Secular Talk. I would discuss right to repair with Ben Shapiro on Daily Wire. I don't care. I want to get this idea. I want to spread this idea to as many people as possible. I don't care who I'm talking to about it. I just care that people understand that this is an issue, why it's an issue, what I believe can be done about it, and are just made consciously aware of it. And, I'd be happy to really speak to anybody's audience about it. Billings, Montana rocks. Larry Sharpe needs to run again. He should have fucking won in 2018. He should have won in 2018. I didn't vote for Cuomo. Lewis plus Asheville, North Carolina. Airbnb fucked Asheville, North Carolina so bad. Look at the prices of houses in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm not going to say it's as bad as New York. It's not as bad as New York. It's like one step below. You have houses that look like they're 100 years old, that are average in size, that are $600,000 and $700,000 and $800,000. Like Airbnb just took a spiked humbler and shoved it up the ass of Asheville, North Carolina.
It's rocket.
It is, isn't it?
Robust.
Greetings from the land of the band CA Trump's Labor Secretary Alex Acosta. Alex Acosta, that was the one. Oh, that guy should be in jail. Look up Alex Acosta and Jeffrey Epstein and look up the sentence that he wound up giving. The prison, the fucking Holiday Inn that he got sent to that he only had to spend a couple of hours a day at. Oh my God. Oh, that's what a corrupt scumbag. What a corrupt effing scumbag. Thank you. How's your body reacting now that we meet again? Not that much differently, honestly. Have you talked to any of the Tesla independent repair people? Only Rich Rebuilds, but I didn't have a lot of time to discuss the week that he was in New York. And again, that was my fault, and I'm a piece of shit for it, and I feel bad for it. Your thoughts on Parler ban? I did an entire video on this. I think that the idea of having a free speech platform that is hosted on AWS, that has the Apple App Store, the iOS App Store as a gatekeeper, that's adorable. There needs to be a better job done. There needs to be how about this? Something more decentralized put together. But you'd be interested in discussing right to repair versus patent copyright law with me. It would be interesting to discuss the comparative legal policy considerations. Maybe on civil law, but I don't know who you are. Maybe. Email me. I can't guarantee I'll reply because I have 3,800 unread emails right now. But send me an email, lewis@rossmanngroup.com. Why not upstate? Rochester, Syracuse, Utica, Albany, coordinators, best of both worlds. No, it doesn't. You have 2.2% property tax. I'm not again. If I'm gonna take the effort to rebuild somewhere else, to restart my entire fucking business from scratch, I'm not moving to no sinking ship. And 2.2 to 2.5% property tax, that's a sinking ship. You don't own anything there. You're a slave to the state for the rest of your life. I used to replace chips and motherboards 10 years ago, but then I found Herbalife and my life has never been the same. Did you just make me read an ad for $5? I guess I have a sponsor now. I got tricked. Asheville is a place I would actually like to visit. Gigabit internet, seemingly normal people, Whole Foods and Trader Joe's within half a mile, a business district with $1 a square foot real estate. Can vouch for uncivil law. It shows are super informative. Yeah, email me, lewis@rossmanngroup.com. I'll reach out to you. I'll talk to you about it. I think it would be cool to do a show. Not tonight because I'm dead tired, but yeah, email me, lewis@rossmanngroup.com. If you can spell my name with 2 S's and 2 N's, you will get through. But now I'll probably have a bunch of spam there now. Yeah, like why not move upstate New York? Yeah, like why? Why? It's sinking. It's sinking. Cuomo said as much. He said he's going to have to raise taxes this year on top of the already insane taxes that you have in New York. What's up there? What is in upstate New York that is not in every other state? What mic do you use? This is an Audio Technica 4050. I got this thing cheaply on Craigslist, and it does the job. I think I got this for like $300 used on Craigslist. Not bad. What's your plan for Biden's tax raise in New York? I don't know. The corporate tax doesn't really, it's not going to affect me because if you run a corporation and it's as small as mine, it honestly shouldn't be profiting.
Robust.
What are your thoughts on pre-ordering and people forming class action lawsuits if they don't turn out well? Stop pre-ordering. Stop buying. Okay, pre-ordering a physical good I get because there's a limited amount in production. Pre-ordering a digital good is insane because it's that's artificial scarcity at its worst. You're just getting fooled if you're pre-ordering something that's digital. Yeah, when it comes to like corporate tax rates, at the end of the year, I either A, pay myself, or B, expand my business. But profiting as a corporation is dumb. Okay, here's why. So here's a real ad to read. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Adam. So let's say you get taxed after federal, state, city, Social Security, Medicare, all that shit. Let's say I pay 40% in tax. I'm just going to pull a number out of my ass. Let's say I pay 40%, right? Why would I keep the money in my company and get taxed at 21 to 35% corporate tax and then pay myself next year and get taxed 40% on that? That's double taxation. So I'm going to get taxed 30% once and then 40% again? Like, that's insane. So if you have a corporation, either A, put the money into expanding it, buy new gear, buy new inventory, buy new shit that allows you to make more money for next year, or B, pay yourself. But for me, at the size of my company, to have a corporation that profits, it genuinely doesn't make any sense, because then I'm going to be taxed on corporate profits, and then when I pay myself, I will get taxed out of that. That doesn't make any sense. So what I just, so there, now a personal tax rate increase, that would actually hit me because, again, I do pay myself. But like a corporate tax is going up, I don't really care because I don't run my company in a way where my company is making hundreds of thousands of dollars each year. Again, like I either expand the business, I hire new people, I buy new stuff, I invest in new stuff that I sell on store.rossmanngroup.com, or I pay myself. But knowing that you're going to be taxed on income that is then going to be taxed again afterwards and actually leaving it there to be taxed is just, in my opinion, irresponsible. Have you ever been on a late night talk show? I have not. And would you go on and talk about right to repair? I have no interest in going on any sort of talk show where you talk to someone for 2 or 3 minutes before they go to a commercial and they give you 10 seconds to get out extremely complex points. Having 10 to 40 seconds to discuss a very complex point is not dignified in any way, shape, or form, and I want no part of that old media garbage system where you're forced to take 10 or 30 seconds to discuss something that is very complicated. Do you think the government public funds should do R&D to encourage open source chipset designs that anyone can copy? I don't know. I think that if we don't, we're going to wind up falling behind other countries that are able to put crap into the chipsets that will allow them to spy on us, turn it off remotely, or undermine the United States of America. So it probably should. And I think that we do a decent, we do have a decent amount when it comes to chip fabrication for stuff for the military. It's just ridiculously expensive. Come to Delaware, I'll work for you. Maybe. Have a fit. Okay, I'm behind by almost 20 minutes at this point, so I gotta scroll. I gotta scroll. Shit, I am so far behind. 11:47. Fuck me. Okay, so I'm gonna raise the bar for the stuff that I read. Panasonic Tough Book on Linux. Yeah, why not? You'd share Herman Miller. No, it's some knockoff piece of shit on Amazon that costs like $90. I'm too cheap to get myself a Aeron chair. Paul has an Aeron chair. Steve has an Aeron chair. Chris has an Aeron chair. I have a piece of shit chair. I get good stuff from my staff and shit stuff from me. I'm too cheap to get myself anything good. In most states, if you own the land, you can buy the land patent from the state. Once it's yours, you don't legally have to pay tax. I wonder what they charge for that. Have a nice night. Thank you. Respect for surviving in New York. Thank you. Trump Secretary of Labor Alex Acosta is who you're talking about. That guy's a fucking criminal, in my opinion. Okay, so everything from 1150 to 1156 is now gone. Do you offer internships? No, because they're illegal as much as I'd like to, because that's how I learned everything, as I went over in an old video on internships. I can't. What do you think about Yang for mayor? Covered that already. Let's see. Have you met Linus? I have, yes. Do you like Raid Shadow Legends? Raid Shadow Legends can gargle my balls.
Robust.
Salutations from Transylvania. Wish you success in your business. Also, don't work yourself to death. Sleep is important. Speaking of, I will have to go to sleep soon. Lewis on Joe Rogan, please. I'd show up on a show if there was an opportunity. How not be an authoritarian society. Don't allow government to control every aspect of your life. That's one way. What do you think on Yang for mayor? I've answered that like 5 times already. Next. Okay, we're up to 11:57. I'm almost caught up. Uncivil laws. Comment? Yes, please email me. I will get back to you soon. When you visit Colorado, you should make a video.
Robust.
Yeah, why not? Give us ideas of right to repair and we win in Belgium with your ideas, so now we can push European Union for right to repair. I love you. Well, we'll see. Hopefully it'll be successful. Hopefully it won't be like that France labeling thing where Apple winds up getting a good repairability score on a product that's unfixable. Okay, I'm up to 11:59. I'm up to 12.
Robust.
Jordan, different parts are different levels of syncing. Tanner says, I banged a hot chick in Asheville. Good beer, solid place, beautiful scenery. Would recommend. We'll think about it. Sounds like North Wilmington in Delaware.
Robust.
I don't know about Wilmington in Delaware. What do you think about Yang for mayor? I can't keep answering the same question. Jersey is technically sinking faster. They're in a race. They're racing.
Robust.
Please move to Florida. No state income tax. It's an automatic salary increase for you and your employees. It may not be because I don't know if I would get the exact same amount of business there. But people really lose their mind over state income tax, and Eli explained this very well. So he visited my store, and he's in a place that's taxed less than where I am. But he also saw that when you have 30 to 50 items come in the door every single day, whether or not your taxes are like 3% higher than a place where you get 5 items in the door every single day, it really doesn't matter anymore. State income tax is not what I'm worried about, because that's a tax on income. I'm worried about property tax more so because that's a tax that lasts after you no longer have an income. I'm more concerned about being in an area where I'm going to be around crazy people, being in an area where it's going to become expensive over time. Mostly avoiding crazy. We'll see. There's a few places in Florida that are on the list. Just looking at Fort Lauderdale and some places in Tampa. Not voting for someone because you don't think they have a chance of winning defeats the purpose of voting in the first place. Yes, I'm also pissed off at the first past the post system, which really kind of screws you over there. Would you go on Joe Rogan if asked? Yeah, why not? I don't have to always agree with someone to have to be honest, to have a decent conversation. I also have not done DMT. I think that may keep me from going on Rogan. Would you smoke weed with Joe Rogan? I don't smoke weed. Lewis is effing awesome. I don't think so, but thank you. Florida's the crazy person capital. I think New York is. South Florida's overhyped. Gainesville is better. I don't know. I've met some crazy people from Gainesville. But then again, I've met a lot of crazy people from here. If you don't like Shade Shadow Legends, you should check out Shade Legends of Lotto. What? That sounds crazy. I met some people at a conference from Gainesville that seemed nutty. But then again, who am I to speak? Thank you, Bradley. Okay, I'm about to get out of here. I am tired. Gonna get myself some protein yogurt. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. These comments never end. Now I'm yawning. Joe Rogan would break your arm. Why would he break my arm? That doesn't sound very nice. I watch his show. He always seems like a nice guy.
Robust.
Alaska doesn't have property tax. Erica, Alaska doesn't have property tax. Erica's from Hawaii, so she would love to go to a place that's that cold all the time. What do you think about permanently relocating to the coldest part of the United States?
No.
She said yes.
No.
All right, we got to go. All right, we will be going over to Alaska. Sounds great.
Alaska have a Trader Joe's?
He's a martial artist. Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that are martial artists, but they don't beat up people for no reason. That's just, I think you're being ridiculous. You're just being ridiculous. We're gonna put you in timeout for being ridiculous. What do you say to applicants that say they are A+ certified? Being that all your employees live or close to New York, will you open up a second store, or will you just see you and move with you? I don't know. I honestly, I'm really not in the mindset of wanting to move. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. A lot of stuff can go wrong. It's a lot. It's a lot of stress that I honestly just don't feel like going through after I already went through it. But it is what it is. I chose to do it. And I chose to have a business in this fucking city, so it's on me.
Robust.
But what was I saying? If we invite you to Belgium, talk about right to repair, and pay for your time and expenses, can we count on you? You will talk to Belgium government section. Can we count on you to travel to another country? I don't know. Don't you have Zoom? I mean, like I'm not trying to be mean here, but why do I need to travel in person to answer questions? Because here's the thing. Every time I speak to politicians about right to repair, and they don't give a flying fuck what I have to say. And it's one thing when it's over email or something, but it's really, really painful if I were to be on a plane for like 20 hours to go to a country where I don't speak the language, to miss a week of work to speak to people when I could have done what would I be doing there that I can't do over Zoom? I'm serious. The reason that I visit these right to repair things in the United States is because I want to record them. It's not just that I have testimony to give. I need to record them so that people can see the ridiculous claims and bullshit that the lobbyists say. I want you to be able to actually see the politician that's using their phone and that really just doesn't want to be there. You need to see all that. But if we're talking about Europe, what would I be flying there for, We have Zoom. Well, also, why am I still here? I'm supposed to be leaving. I think I was in the middle of answering a sentence, and I forgot it because something else popped up, and now I forget. Thank you to Johnny Tay. Hi. I know. You will talk to Belgium federal government section. Can we count on you? I don't know. Maybe I'd go. But I don't... What would you say to applicants that are A+ certified? Honestly, if somebody thinks that knowing how many FireWire 400 devices that you can daisy chain is relevant to a component level motherboard repair job, they've immediately disqualified themselves by even presenting that. The A+ would actually be disqualifying. Just you telling me that when I say what qualifies you to work here, you saying I have an A+ rather than saying I know how to run a wire under a BGA chip, that immediately would disqualify. That's immediately disqualifying. What's your overall take on that marketplace investigation? I like the older CBC News pieces where they would do investigations and all those marketplace stories. I like them. The older stories were amazing. The newer ones really seem to be less interesting. Oh my god, I'm tired. Why the fuck am I still here? Something to consider. My dad left New York in the 70s, and even though it was bad, then all he ever does is complain about how X, Y, and Z was better in New York City. That's something to think about. Have you or a loved one ever suffered something I can't read after exposure to asbestos? No. And also, you just made me read a commercial. That's the second time I read a fucking commercial tonight. God damn. You guys are copying and pasting commercials. All right, I got to get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry if I missed your message, but I got to go. Because it'll never end. Check out approval voting as an alternative to first past the post, electionscience.org. Thank you, but your message is probably not going to show up on screen because I'm hitting the stop button so that I can go to sleep. See you all later. Bye now. And cut.